Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a lovely week so far. Students, in this class we are looking at the IELTS listening section. Specifically, we are focusing on practicing and strategies for part 1 and 2 so that we can get those high band scores. And while we wait for some more of your classmates, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. Welcome, Marjona, Jagu, Angrej, Bilal. Good to see many of you. Hi, Arda. Welcome, members. Shahid Honey Patel, nice to see you as well. Students, our websites look like this for world-class IELTS learning. Visit aehelp.com. Click that big red button to join the premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. It's well worth it. Doesn't cost very much, especially not compared to the exam fee. And you'll learn lots. We are an IELTS official test registration center and certified agents. We work with past examiners, so you're in great hands with us. This is our general IELTS website here at gieltshelp.com. Again, click that big red button to join our premium package there and begin learning for success. If you haven't yet, you can get our apps from your App Store, Google Play, Apple Store, Academic IELTS Help, links to aehelp.com, General IELTS Help, links to gieltshelp.com. So you learn from one student account. It is great. Alexander, good to see you as well. Fardius, nice to see you in the class. Students, if you have a question, contact me. Adrian at aehelp.com. Send me an email. I'm happy to answer your questions. So we've got this class today. We've got 2 more classes tomorrow. We'll have reading, and then we'll do the other half of this exam, part 3 and part 4. All right. And then on Saturday, we'll have a Q&A session for members, and we'll have a speaking part 3 for everyone. So lots and lots of classes coming up today, tomorrow, and on Saturday. So make sure that you hang out and get ready for your test. All right, so for the listening, we are looking at our first exam. So this is going to be CD1, Track 1 in your online course. All right. Let me enlarge the size of this so you can see it a little bit clearer. So I'm going to hop over to our website here. And when you have access, once you've joined the premium package, you get access to all of the content. You go to your My Student account. And when you're in your My Student account, you're going to see computer-based IELTS practice exams, a fully interactive online course, workbooks, study plans, and then you're going to have lesson videos. There's over 100 hours of HD lesson videos with me and other IELTS teachers. And then you're going to see these IELTS audio CDs. This is where you find all of the audio for the exams, as well as extra audio for the reading sections, speaking examples. So that's where you'll find them all. I'm going to play the audio right now for this listening through my headset. Please turn up the volume or use a headset if it's quiet for you or if you want more clarity. And for the answers, wait until the end to share your answers. So write your answers onto a different piece of paper or into a different document. And then we will go through the answers together and I will give you strategy on these, okay? So here we go, students. Let's begin with IELTS listening section part 1. Here we go. Pardis, nice job on your results. Okay.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Listening Section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 men as one of the men registers for a football league. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Hello there. I'd like to register for the Autumn Men's Football League.
All right. In what town will you be playing?
I'd like to play in Chester, though I'd be willing to travel to Liverpool if I had to.
The man says he wants to play in Chester, so B has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Hello there. I'd like to register for the Autumn Men's Football League.
All right. In what town will you be playing?
I'd like to play in Chester, though I'd be willing to travel to Liverpool if I had to.
Well, we have 2 spots left open on the team in Chester and 5 spots open on the team in Liverpool. There's a very good chance you would have to try out for the team in Chester. Are you a good player?
I consider myself a good player, yes. I have been to a number of the Autumn Men's League games in the past, just as a spectator, and I'm sure I would have no trouble fitting in.
Okay, good. So we will register you for Chester then. I just need to get some information from you, starting with your position. Where on the field do you prefer to play?
I'm a midfielder, although really I can play anywhere aside from goalkeeper.
Oh, I forgot to ask your name.
Right, I guess that's important. My name is Steve Trammell.
Would you mind spelling Trammell for me?
Certainly. Trammell is spelled T-R-A-M-M-E-L-L.
Right, now I need your home address, including your postcode.
I live in Chester, of course, at 452 King George Avenue. The postcode is MS868P4.
MS868P4?
Yes, that's right.
And your date of birth, sir?
The 8th of September 1986.
Okay. Now I need your phone number. Just a mobile number will do.
I don't have a mobile phone right now, unfortunately. I can give you my girlfriend's number instead.
That would be all right, I suppose.
Good. Her number is 329-633270.
Fine. I think that's all the information I need to gather from you. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do have a couple. First, when does the season start?
The season starts on the 28th of September, although your first game is later, I think. Let me check the schedule. Yes, your first game is October the 1st in Liverpool. Let me make a copy of the schedule for you.
Thank you. Could you also tell me how long each game is?
Each game has 2 halves, 40 minutes each half, so the game is 80 minutes long.
That's a little shorter than the other leagues I've played in. Games are usually 90 minutes.
Yes, our spring and summer leagues are 90-minute games, but our autumn league has only 80-minute games. I think it has something to do with the poor weather.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
Okay, can you tell me how many players are on each team? And I mean on the whole team, not just the players on the pitch.
Usually there are 5 additional players to the 11 on the pitch. So there are 16 players on each roster. We generally find that to be the perfect number. It allows for a few players to miss a game, but still allows lots of playing time for each player.
Yes, playing time is what I was worried about. I don't want to pay my money and then sit on the sidelines the whole season. Are there minimum playing time requirements?
Yes, each player must play a minimum of half a game, so you are guaranteed at least 40 minutes of playing time per game.
Wonderful. That puts my mind at ease. Could you tell me what facility we play at in Chester?
That information is on the schedule, along with the addresses of all the other facilities in the league. Here's your schedule.
Thank you. Oh, good, it states we play 2 streets from my flat. How convenient.
That is very lucky. Do you have any more questions?
No, I think that's it. Oh, wait, how much does it cost to register?
It's going to be £125 for the season, including all fees. How would you like to pay?
I'll be paying cash.
Right. Would you like a receipt? If you find that it doesn't work out time-wise, you can always bring the receipt back and we will give it.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, students. So always use that half minute to check your answers. Sometimes students go to the other section in that time. That's not a good idea. While the information is fresh in your mind, you want to use that 30 seconds to check your answers, check for spelling, look at the questions again, make sure you didn't write 3 words if it's only 2 words. So be really, really careful, okay? All right. So before we go over the answers together, and we will do that in just a moment, I used a very important strategy at the beginning of the listening, which is really helpful to increase your band scores, okay? So notice this strategy, which is to look at the topics of part 2, 3, and 4 while the instructions are given. This is really easy to do in the computer-based exam because you just click at the bottom of your screen and you can jump around to the other sections. So listening has 4 sections. Each one has 10 questions. Each one is a unique topic. Okay. So anybody catch the topic of part 2? So what is part 2 going to be about? I looked at it. There was even some pictures of this boat with some chimneys. Yeah, so Arda says it's the Titanic. Part 3 is discussion. It's a group task. And number 4 is climate change. Absolutely, Arda. Very good. So Arda says part 2 is going to be about the famous ship, the Titanic. Part 3 is going to be some kind of a group project. We got that from the table, right? So I looked at that table and you could discern, you could figure out from that table that that was going to be a discussion. It was going to be a group project. And part 4 will be a climate change. Okay, the topic was given very clearly. By looking at these topics, your brain starts to work on these ideas. And when you start to listen to these, it will be much, much better than if they come as a surprise. Like, let's talk about the Titanic. Oh, what? Hey, what's going on? But if you know that there's a topic coming up about the Titanic, your brain is maybe already thinking about the movie, The Titanic. Maybe you saw that. You know that it's a big boat that sank about 100 years ago. It was going from Europe to North America. So, no, Mahi, definitely it will not distract you. The other point to keep in mind, Mahi, is that part 1 is by far the easiest part of the exam. So you should do well in part 1 regardless, because it's much easier than part 2, 3, and 4. So even if you're a little bit distracted, Mahi, it's still very valuable when you get to those more difficult parts of the listening. Okay? All right. And once you have these ideas, you go back to the questions, you look at them. Now, here we have an example question. You do not have examples now in the IELTS listening. There were examples up until 2020. In 2020, they realized that the example is kind of distracting. It confuses candidates, so they took out the example. And now you just start with question 1. For multiple choice questions in the listening, you're always listening for the answer. Okay. So in this case, the question is, how many football matches has the man played in the league? Anybody know what the answers for number 1? Was it A, 10 games, B, 0 or no games, or C, the man's played 40 to 50 games in this league? And so anybody know the answer? Okay, Arda says B, Irfan says B, Amra says B. Okay. Yeah, Mahi, keep using this technique. People definitely improve their scores by it, right? So B as well. Medina, Honey Patel, any answers there? Medina, don't be bored. Stay focused in the IELTS, okay? Yeah, so it's B. Anybody know why? So why is B the answer? Why has this man played no matches so far? Can anybody tell me that? So why do we know that it's 0? What does he say? And if you don't know the answer to this question, you should always check the transcripts. Transcripts are at the back of the book. I believe it's 175. No. Then it is 155. There we go. Okay. So check the transcripts if you're not sure where the answer is coming from. The transcripts are basically the script. Okay. And this is what Steve says here. Steve says, I consider myself a good player. Yes, I have been to a number of the autumn men's leagues games in the past, just as a spectator. So just as a spectator means only as a person who is watching the games but not playing. So from this, we know the answer. This is a bit of a difficult first question. It's an inference type question. And if the first question is difficult or tricky, don't panic, don't freak out. Some questions will be tougher, some questions will be easier. Just do your best, okay? All right? So let's go back to these questions and then we'll look at the others. Hopefully they're not as challenging or as tricky. Okay, so number 1 is B. Number 2, what position does the man play? Midfield, goalkeeper, or striker? A, B, or C? Yeah, very good, because of a spectator. Yeah, so Bakhrat, that's right, he's part of the audience. Yeah, he's a fan. Arda, Irfan, for number 2, they're saying it's A, it's a midfielder. Yeah, and striker would be okay too, but midfielder is the better. He says, I'm a midfielder. So he very clearly says it, I'm a midfielder. So A is the right answer. Absolutely. Good job. All right. So don't overthink it. He says anything aside from goalkeeper. So goalkeeper is definitely wrong. That's a very different position in football. It's not a goalkeeper. Okay. Next one. So here you had to fill out the form. This is a very typical type of question for part 1. Dictation. Listen carefully. Listen to spellings. So complete the notes below. Write no more than 3 words and or a number. So first is his name. His name is Stephen something. Okay. What is his name? Stephen what? Shahid, good answer. B for the previous. Okay. All right. Okay. So what is his name? Honey Patel, it's close, but not right. It's not Tranel, it's Tramel. Yeah. Vinay, very close. Vinay, it's Tramel with an E, right? So Tramel. Double L. Tramel. Yeah, very good. So listen to that spelling. It says double M, double L. And of course, this T has to be capital. Now, this is correct if you write all capital like this. That's also correct, but this is a bit slower to write this way. So what I recommend is writing this way. And then if you want to make sure that you're not getting any capitalization mistakes, then what you can do is you can change it all to capital letters in the paper-based exam at the end when you have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. In the computer-based exam, just hit your caps lock button and then you're writing all capital, okay? So if you look at your keyboard, there will be a button that will be like this. On the left side, it's a big button. If you push that button, you're writing all capital letters. That's for the computer-based exam, okay? Space odd jobs for the date, just keep it simple. I think we have a date style question coming up. So I'll let you know about that, but you can abbreviate the month. So for example, October, you would write OCT. And then the day, 12 or 21, and then the year, 2021. Okay? So if you're writing a date, just do it like this. You don't need 21st, so you don't need the superscript. Okay, it's not necessary. All right? So keep it simple. Keep it simple. Minimum answer necessary. All right? Okay, what is this gentleman's postal code? So if somebody wants to send a letter, what kind of a postal code should they use for this person? So artist says it's MS868P4. MS868P4. That seems to be the popular answer. Yeah, I believe that's correct. It sounds correct. Yeah, it's correct. Make sure that your letters and your numbers are super clear. Definitely use capitals for the letters here. So instead of the small letters, generally we do that anyway. So if you're in the US, Canada, UK, your postal code, you usually write those with big letters. Okay. So write it all with capital letters. It's clear for the examiner. Okay. Make sure your letters and your numbers are very clear. If the examiner cannot read your writing, they will mark it wrong. Okay, and then we had to match the time with the event. So question number 5 here is Steve's first match. When is his first game? Okay, anybody know? Was it A, B, C, or D? So the administrator says, oh yeah, the league starts on September 30th, I believe, but your game is a little bit faster. Okay. Mahi, there's listening on the website for letters. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. So a lot of you are saying D. D is the correct answer. Okay. The league starts on the 28th, but the first game or the first match is October 1st. So the correct answer here is D. Okay. So not the start of the league, but the first match. Be very careful with details. Okay. So Steve's first match, it's October 1st. All right. And Mahi said that, you're having some troubles with some letters and some numbers. Again, students, before we look at the other answers, in the audios on the website, there's a lot of audio materials. You can see me going through it here. And yeah, so here, for instance, you have like numbers, okay? And here, let me just play that real quick.
Numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Okay, so you have numbers, you also have letters, and then you have even other listening exercises like months of the year.
Months of the year: January, February, March, April, May.
Okay, so you have all of those resources, Mahi. Make sure to go through the website carefully. And for those, you not only want to listen, but you also... You not only want to listen to those, but you also want to repeat and copy the pronunciation for your speaking. Okay, everyone? So that's a little bit of a sidetrack, but there's a lot of content on the website. Make sure you check it all out, okay? You're paying for that. It's not a lot of money, and you're getting a lot of value there. So make sure to use all of that material, okay? And Mahi, you'll find like even the letters and things there as well, so that you can catch the difference between an N and an M. Okay. Mohammed, Mashal, welcome to our group of members. Send me an email and I'll hook you up with your perks. Okay. All right. So here we go. Number 6, you had to complete this chart here with this little table. The league, it's an autumn men's league for football. The game length is 80 minutes. The administrator says very clearly it's 2 40-minute halves. I remember visually that he even says it's something to do with the bad weather, lots of rain. Okay. So how many players on roster? So it means on each team, how many players are there? And many of you, Irfan, Arda, Roya, Liddy, Bakrat, Marjona, are saying 16. Yeah, use the number instead of the word when you can. It's just easier, faster. Less chance to make a mistake. Okay. All right. Minimum playing time. So how many minutes should a player play at least? So what's the minimum playing time? Rohia says 40 minutes. Very good. Yeah, and you need the word minutes here. Now you can abbreviate that to mins. Okay, so minutes, M-I-N-S, period. It's faster, so 40 mins. Ferdov's Gafarov, very good, 40 mins, okay? Nice and quick, okay? You don't have to write the whole word. Learn abbreviation. Minutes is like that. Hours would be HRS. Okay, number 8. Why does the man say that he's lucky? So he says, oh, that's great. And then the other man says, that is lucky. He's able to find a team to play on. There's a minimum playing time requirement, or the playing field is close to where he lives. And again, you're listening for the answer. Don't just think that in multiple choice, the correct answer is going to be like, wow, into your face. It's not. Okay, you have to listen for the answer, not choose the answer by staring really, really hard. Okay, Ritesh in Singing World says it's C. The playing field is close to where he lives. How close is it? Bonus question. It's correct. So C is the right answer. Bonus. He says something. You should visualize it. How close? Okay, he even says that. He even gives that answer. So bonus round. How close? Very good, Shahid. It's C. Hani Patel, C. Shahid, 40 minutes for the previous. Very nice. I am paying attention over general English help as well. Geeta, Shahid, and Vinay, very good. Hoang Nguyen, very good. Hoang Nguyen says it's 2 blocks. 2 blocks. Yeah, good memory, Hoang. 2 blocks from my house. And I believe he uses the word flat, so we even know that he lives in an apartment. So yeah, so Stephen says, oh good, that's just a couple of blocks from my flat. Rohia Liddy, very good. Yeah, nice. So that's active listening. And in fact, that's what you want to practice. A good start to practicing for the listening section is listen to some IELTS audio in groups of 2. So you and a partner, listen to a listening audio. Don't worry about the questions in the exam, but make your own questions, like what I just did. How far does the man live from the field or the football pitch? 2 blocks. And then ask each other questions. So surprise each other with different questions. Did everybody catch that? And need some thumbs up so everybody understand what I'm saying. So to make the IELTS listening a little bit more exciting, don't just do practice exams, but listen to audio in partners and then ask each other questions back and forth, right, about the audio, and see if you agree, see if you don't, discuss why, discuss the vocabulary. Okay, it's really good practice, and it's kind of more fun than just doing it solo and staring at these questions. Okay. All right. Marjona says, yes, I will do that. And Mahi's doing a little boogie. So very good. Okay. Excellent. So questions 9 to 10, write no more than 2 words. What is the cost of the football league? So how much does this man have to pay to play football? Relaxation and motivation. I am very thankful. I hope you're having a great day over in Nepal. Irfan says the easiest way to do this is to use the symbol. And I love how you found that symbol, Irfan. 125 pounds. Yeah, and the symbol is not given here. It doesn't say pounds. So you need both. Okay. Could be dollars, could be francs, could be shillings. All right. So 125 pounds. Use the symbol for pounds, not the word. Okay, so keep it simple whenever possible. 125. Okay, Arda says, I just couldn't find it. Arda, you're going to have to ask Irfan where they found the pound symbol. All right, number 10. How does the man pay for the registration fee? He uses one word. It's very, very simple. Sakina's even found the pound bills. Okay. Number 10. I'm sorry, I can't read the Cyrillic. I really got to learn the Cyrillic alphabet. Nancy. Okay. Cash. Yeah, cash. Cold, hard cash. All small letters, common noun. No need to get fancy. Just cash. Okay. All right. How did you do? So what did you get out of 10? Everyone. So part 1, you should be aiming for 9 or more for part 1. Okay, it's the easiest part. You should try to get them all right. How did you do? What did you get out of 10? Mahi says, I got 10 out of 10. Good job, Mahi. Okay, Marjona, 10 out of 10 is fantastic. Irfan, Sarita, Amra, 9 out of 10 is awesome. Jason says 10 out of 10, that was easy. It should be, okay? Part 1 is not designed to be difficult. It's designed to be relatively easy. You should be getting a good score. Vinay says, I got 9. Honey Patel says, I got 9. That's good, okay? So Vinay, honey, that's good. As long as you're getting 9 or 10, you're on the right track. If you're getting less than 9, careful. Part 3, Part 2, Part 4 are going to be more challenging. That's where usually students lose more and more marks, okay? And let's do Part 2. So let's get right into Part 2. We're going to be nice and fluent here, nice and quick. I'm going to hop over to the audio on the website, and then we'll get cracking on it. We have to go back all the way to CD1 track. Whoop, a little bit overexcited with the finger scrolling. Okay, here we go, everyone. So again, we'll share the answers at the end together. Do not put answers in the chat. Keep it clean, keep it fair for everyone. Here we go.
Now turn to section 2. Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening section 2. You will hear a radio presenter interviewing a woman about the infamous ship Titanic. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Good afternoon to all our listeners and welcome back to History Now, a weekly programme that reflects on subjects of historical influence. Today we are going to speak with Dr. Andrea Smithson, an historian at the University of Glasgow. Good afternoon, Andrea.
Good afternoon, Peter.
What are you going to talk about today, Andrea?
I'll be talking about one of the most catastrophic events in maritime history, the sinking of the Titanic.
I can't wait for you to begin.
Thanks, Peter. The Titanic was an enormous ship. The makers called it unsinkable. From end to end, it measured approximately the length of 3 football pitches. It had the capacity to carry over 3,500 passengers, as well as the over 800 people on the crew of the ship. Despite its massive size and impressive capacity, the Titanic was able to cruise at a speed of 40 knots. This was in large part due to the 59,000 horsepower engine. Just how much is 59,000 HP? Well, in literal terms, it's like being pulled by 59,000 horses. More realistically, it's the equivalent power of 500 cars. On the maiden voyage that left Southampton, England, on the 10th of April 1912, there were 1,343 passengers and 885 crew members. There were 3 different classes of tickets for those aboard the Titanic. A third-class ticket was the lowest level ticket. At the time, it cost between £3 and £8. A second-class ticket cost about £12. A first-class ticket cost anywhere from £30 all the way up to £870. In today's money, £870 is over £20,000. You may be wondering what the people in the first class were paying for. They had luxurious rooms on the highest decks, delicious meals for breakfast, lunch and dinner, as well as the finest entertainment money could buy. On the other hand, those in third class slept in cramped rooms which were quite plain and small and did not have access to the fine restaurants and entertainment on the upper decks of the ship. Now I'd like to tell you about a few lesser known facts about the Titanic. Although there were 4 large funnels, or smokestacks, on the Titanic, only 3 of them were functional. One of the funnels was put there just to make the ship look even bigger and more impressive. The ship carried over 70 tons of food for the passengers, including over 40,000 eggs.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
On the night of the 14th of April 1912, on her maiden voyage, the Titanic hit an iceberg. About 3 hours later, early morning the next day, the ship sank. The reasons for the sinking are numerous. First, the watertight doors, which were supposed to keep water out, didn't work properly. Second, the night of the 14th of April was incredibly calm on the water. Icebergs are easily spotted when there are waves crashing against them. On this night, there were no waves. The strength of the metal in the Titanic was not as it should have been. The metal became brittle in the freezing cold and was easily broken by the iceberg. Another big factor was the inability of the Titanic to turn quickly. Once the lookouts had spotted the iceberg, the captain ordered the ship turned, but it was too late. If the ship had been able to turn faster, it would have missed the iceberg. One of the biggest tragedies about the sinking was that there were not enough lifeboats for everyone on the ship. In addition to this, many of the lifeboats left the sinking vessel with less than half of the people they were designed to carry. For example, the first lifeboat off the Titanic left with only 27 of the allotted 65 passengers. This unfortunate occurrence can be attributed to panic on the part of the passengers and crew. One can only imagine the sheer terror on board the ship that early morning. 1,523 out of the 2,228 passengers and crew perished that morning. Most died from the near freezing temperature of the Atlantic Ocean. Others drowned after being trapped in the lower decks. 705 people lived to tell their story, most of them women and children who were put on the lifeboats before the grown men were. Because of this, 94% of the first-class passenger women and children were saved, while only 14% of the third-class passenger men survived. Overall, 60% of the first-class occupants survived, while only 25% of the third-class ticket holders lived in the aftermath of this tragedy.
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, students, and again, use that half minute to check your answers. Let's go over the answers together. So here we go. Number 11, what was the overall capacity of the Titanic? Overall meaning the total capacity. Was it A, 800 people, B, 3,500 people, or C, 4,300 people? Majorna says A, Tai says B, Bakrat correctly says C. The correct answer is C, 4,300. You have to do a little bit of simple math here. 800 crew and 3,500 passengers equals 4,300. So careful, if the answer seems really, really easy, there might be an extra layer to that question. Arda, that's right, 3,500 plus 800. Vinay Harvinder, very nice, C and C. Syed, Afshan, ask your question. If it's about this listening, good. Just ask it, I'll answer it. If it's off topic, send me an email, okay? All right, so C is the correct answer there. Next one. What was the cost of a third class ticket? Now remember, this is a transcontinental boat taking people from Europe all the way to North America back in the early 1900s. Between 30 and 870 pounds, between 1 and 2 pounds, between 3 and 8 pounds. Het Tijani says, that's C again. Gurjeet agrees with Het, and you are both correct. Yeah, it was 3 to 8 pounds. C. Okay, 3 to 8 pounds. All right, now came this multiple choice question for 3 points. Okay, so question 13, 14, 15. The order doesn't matter, so in your answer key, if you're doing the paper-based exam, it would be 13, 14, 15. And the order of your answer really doesn't matter, okay? As long as you get them correctly. So you should be taking some notes here using your logic. Sarita says the correct answers were B, C, D. Cardiac Thiruk says B, C, D looks good. Vinay says B, D, G. Yeah, so the speaker said they paid for some luxurious rooms, the best money entertainment could buy, and they had incredible meals or food for lunch, dinner, and supper. So B, C, D were the correct answers here. Okay, any order. You could go CBD or DCB, it doesn't matter as long as you got those correct. Vinay, you said G, that would be wrong, so you would lose 1 point. Okay. All right. They don't talk about the casino, watertight doors, that's not in there. Lower deck rooms, I don't know. There's no G there. Okay, here we had to match the audio with the diagram. So which of the following best represents the Titanic? Okay, and we notice that the difference here in ABC are the number of chimneys or smokestacks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chimneys. We have 4 chimneys, and we have 3 chimneys. The best answer here, Pratik Manyinder Marjona, is B. Yes, absolutely. So B, the Titanic looked like that. It had 4 smokestacks. Yeah, only 3 of them worked, but it actually looked like this. So it looked like B. Very good. So 4 smokestacks, 3 working, 1 not working. All right, so you put B in your answer sheet and you move on. Okay, and then here we have this kind of flow chart. And in the computer-based exam, you would likely have a list of words, and all you would do is drag and drop the correct ones. And notice how they don't necessarily come in the correct order. In the paper-based exam, you might have to write them in by hand. Okay. All right, so first of all, it was an extremely calm night on the ocean, so not stormy, no wind and such, and because of that, there were no something crashing against the icebergs. Vinay says waves. Vinay, very good. Mahi agrees. Ferdovs, yeah, waves, and they're countable. Interestingly, waves are countable. So I guess there's a reason we can count them, right? If you're into surfing, you can say to someone, the 3rd wave looks good, right? So waves, right? Waves, yeah, W-A-V-E-S. No waves crashing against the iceberg. It makes it very hard to see the iceberg. The Titanic hits the iceberg. Terrible. The watertight something fails. Okay, now if you don't remember that, you might remember reading about it here. Okay. Remember watertight doors? So you had it there. Sometimes the answer for a question is in another part of the question sheet. Okay, so remember that trick that you might find that somewhere else, and it is watertight doors. Watertight doors failed. Vinay, it's got to be doors. Okay, not watertight door. There were multiple doors that separated sections of the boat, and they failed. Okay. All right. Many something left the ship half full. This was a little bit tricky. Hopefully, some of you got it. Lifeboats. It's one word. Okay. Many lifeboats. Very important word to know in English. If you're ever traveling and you're on a sightseeing boat or a ship, you should always say, are there any lifeboats? Where are the lifeboats? So very important. Marjona, lifeboats. Irfan, one word. Ferdovs, one word. Thai, one word. Lifeboats. Okay. All right. Sadly, 1,523 people die, most from the freezing cold temperatures of the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, and sadly that Titanic actually sank on East Coast Canada, not too far from Newfoundland, right? Arda, even if you put a dash between lifeboats, I don't know if you get that right. You might, but the correct way is to do it as one word, okay? Not as a hyphenated word, as one word, lifeboats. All right, students, how did you do together in part 1 and part 2? So what was your score? Now, again, part one, part two, it's the easier half of the listening. So with part one together with part two, your goal should be 16 or more. If you're getting less than 16, that's a problem. All right. So how did you do out of 20? Mahi, 19 is really good. Okay. Harwinder, Atlantic Ocean, all capital for the last answer is great. Vinay, ocean is not enough. Harwinder, lifeboats is great. Okay. Mahi says, I missed one. For Dobbs, 17 out of 20 is good. Okay, 19 out of 20 is great. All right, so pretty good. If you're getting, over 16, then you're okay. You're on the right track. You should be able to get band 7 or more as long as you keep it up for part 3 and part 4. Students, for lots more practice, definitely check out our websites. Click that big red button to join the premium package. You get 6 full practice exams, original, computer-based, paper-based. You got an interactive course. You get an app. You get over 100 hours of HD videos with lessons, tips, strategies for all question types and parts. So well worth it. And I will be back tomorrow with listening part 3 and 4, so the second half of this exam, and some more reading for members. So come back tomorrow at this time, hang out with me, learn some more English, learn some more IELTS. Eugen, thank you for those fantastic emojis. Okay. Space Odd Jobs. Yeah, there is a human person that checks your answers for the computer-based test as well. So it's not fully automated, and there are invigilators there. That's it for me for right now, everyone. But again, I will be back tomorrow with some more great IELTS for you. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in this amazing world. Enjoy life, every moment of it. Bye for now.